I actually was a licensed bow hunter in the state of New York when I was a kid. I never killed anything with a bow and arrow. I used to do archery with my dad. He taught me how to do it. We did tracking in the woods. I went with him, but I was very young. I forget. I was probably a young teenager, but I actually was a licensed bow hunter in the state of New York for a while. So I could go along with my dad. Yeah. I mean, not quite as good with a bow and arrow as she is. But archery is fun. I'm sure a lot of you. I have done some archery, but at a very amateur, I would say dilettante level. So I just putting this out there. But even I could speak with more authenticity from my archery 30 years ago. And Mark Zuckerberg, he went on the Joe Rogan podcast. Listen to just Zuckerberg here try to be the woodsman, the bow hunter extraordinaire. Play one.
Which is another reason why things have become sort of emasculated, because that energy is not necessary anymore to acquire meat. That used to be the only way that people got meat. You had to go hunt it. So you had to go actually pull the trigger, kill the animal yourself, cut it up, butcher it, cook it. You knew what you were doing.
Yeah. Although my favorite is bow and arrow.
I prefer it because it requires more of you.
But yeah,
What kind of bow do you have?
Gosh. I didn't get to do it this season, but
do you know the company that makes it?
Not off the top of my head. I have a few.
You have to know.
Yeah, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
I can get you hooked up.
Yeah, it works.
Okay. Do you know how old it is?
No, it's not old.
Okay.
I think it's like just a compound bow that I got strung to my draw length. And
did you get someone to coach you?
Yeah.
Who coached you?
It's basically a bunch of the guys who help run security on the ranch.
This is amazing. I don't know. I don't know who makes the bow. I don't know what kind of bow. I don't know who taught me, but bow hunting is my favorite. But I didn't get to do it this season. This is the kid who raises his hand to answer the question about the book that he hasn't read and then will not back down.
That, and it also reminds me of the 40-year-old virgin when Steve Carell's talking about what he likes about women so much, and everybody is just kind of looking at him.
He says boobs are like bags of sand. Yes.
As he describes what he likes so much about a female body. And everybody just kind of gets weirded out more and more by the questions. To Joe Rogan's credit, he really kind of dove in on it, and Zuckerberg.
Well, Rogan loves bow hunting. So this would be like me sitting here and saying to you like, oh man, I love SEC football, and you would be like, oh, what's your favorite team? And I'm like, the Giants. This is not a good.
All of them. What, did you go to any games this year? Not this year. Well, what's the first game you went to? Well, some of the guys told me about it. I mean, yes, you would think that you would not go all in on something that you know very little about. I will give. I know everybody, we had the emailers and we've had a lot of people weighing in. I do think it is significant. Did you also see, Buck, all of the tech CEOs that are going to be present at the inauguration? You got Zuckerberg, you got Bezos, you've got Elon Musk, but also the CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai, I believe, and Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple. You never in the entire tenure of Donald Trump have seen this many business-related interests showing up, and the lack of resistance, as we've talked about, is setting Trump up for a 2025, 2026, the likes of which he's never had in his political career.
Well, how are you going to have the same kinds of policies, these restrictionist, partisan, authoritarian terms of service, or I'm trying to remember what they call, the way that they will pretend that their censorship is not just this one-off partisan garbage. I mean, they'll basically, usually I think it's a terms of service violation. They give you a strike, whatever it is. It's tough to do that for all things Trump related when the CEOs of all the tech companies are hanging out with Trump and asking for meetings for him. You know what I mean? Or meetings with him. I think that's a very different. It is clearly a very different moment in the world of online information than we've been in previously, where You couldn't say things about the election, you'd get banned and shut down. You couldn't say things about COVID, you get banned and shut down. You couldn't dead name, you get banned and shut down. All these different areas, this is all changed. And so that's why while the CNN, MSNBC, communist industrial complex is trying to regroup, Clay, they aren't going to have the same skewed battlefield, which I think is also something that they have to be aware of now. The days when you could have some, jerk CNN anchor who could pile on any conservative and they could do whatever they wanted and they could create, you drag somebody for trying to defend Trump or something, and suddenly it looks like the entirety of the online sphere is left wing. That's gone. If you say something dumb now as a CNN anchor, you're just going to have people that are able to weigh in. You're going to get community noted. It's going to change. It has changed the dynamic dramatically. So it's about more than just this one moment in time. The victory here is bigger than even the victory at the ballot box because of all the things that have shifted and changed in preparation for this administration.